Sometimes you have a perception of what you think you are. Then there's one perception of what people think you are. And then there's a third of what you think people think you are.
The moment you think of yourself as something other than what you are, your thought can never stop. It will go on endlessly, awake or asleep, it'll go on. If you release yourself from that wrong identification of believing yourself to be something that you are not, it'll become still. Then when you want, you can think, just like your hands. When you want, you can use it, when you don't want, you can keep it here. This is how all your faculties should be, isn't it? See, on a given day, if you're very happy, that day, 24 hours, poof, went off like that, isn't it? Another day, you're a little frustrated, depressed, 24 hours feels like a eon.
They say, try and understand a human being and understand what others think about you. And my struggle is, am I looking at others to understand myself, or do I try and understand myself? Is there a way to understand self?
So, this is a choice you have. Please sit down, I'm sorry. But you must rephrase your introduction, this is not a small question, okay? So, this is a choice that you have with your life. Do you want to understand this life or do you want to experience this life? This is a choice, make that choice first. Because you thinking, I understood life, anybody who thinks they have understood life, they've just drawn their own conclusions, that's all. People who think they understand life, everybody around thinks is a bloody nutcase. Yes or no? You experience your life. If you experience your life, as I said earlier, the problem with us is, we have always been, the religions of the world especially, not so much in this culture, but the religions of the world have largely been talking about understanding life. In this culture, we don't understand life. We just want to profoundly experience our life. How to make our experience life more profound than the way it is right now. This is the goal of this culture. But we've become so much westernized. See, all of you are in jackets, though it is summer, so we are very westernized So, because of that, we are thinking of understanding. We are thinking of being good human beings. We don't need good human beings, because people who think they are very good, they are the ones who do the most terrible things. Right now, a suicide bomber thinks he is doing a very good thing. If he did not think so, he wouldn't throw his life at it, isn't it? Hello? If he thought he is doing a worthless thing, would he sacrifice his life? He believes that he is doing a very good thing. So please don't do good things, they are dangerous. If you're joyful and sensible, do the most sensible thing around you, do the most appropriate thing around you right now, because our actions are relevant to the times in which we exist. It's not independent of the times in which we exist. Yes, all our actions are not independent of the times in which we exist. It's not all ours, it is where we are. Accordingly we act. So this is your action. We are always trying to fix the action. You must understand, action is a consequence of how you are. But today your education is training how to act. Nobody is telling you how to be. Because of that, no matter what you do, in the end you're confused. See, I don't know if you've been around people who pass, you know. If you've been around the last moments when people pass, you will see 80% of the people are not in pain, not in fear, they're just bewildered. Because they misunderstood their psychological drama as life. Right now it's happening to all of you, I'm telling you. You're misunderstanding your thought and emotion as life. This is your drama, you can play this drama whichever way you want. If you're a good director, the drama ends the way you want. If you're a bad director, it goes out of hand. It's your drama, isn't it? Right now, what dialogues are going on within you, it is your drama or no? Are you a good director that you will make it the way you want? Or are you such a lousy director, it just runs away by itself? So you're misunderstanding psychological drama as life process. You will pay for this, but unfortunately most people don't realize this till the last moment comes. You will see they're bewildered because life didn't even begin but it's getting over. This is what is happening. No, this is not what should happen, you must experience your life. What is there to understand? What will you understand? You will draw conclusions, isn't it? Life means this, life means that. Can I tell you a story? In 1924, there was a bishop in the Greek Orthodox Church. Greek Orthodox Church, they have their own pope in Istanbul. It was Constantinople at that time, but they've become a small group now. At one time, they were a very influential group. So this bishop, being in Istanbul or Constantinople, it's on the Silk Route, all these exotic stories from India and China washing across the Bosphorus, he's been hearing so many things about mysticism, mystics, all kinds of yogis and variety of things. So he always had this desire, he wanted to go to India and meet a real yogi or a mystic. But being a man of cloth, he couldn't decide where he goes. Time passed, he was over 60 years of age. Then he got an opportunity to come to India. He came to southern India. He had a good guide who took him somewhere and said, if you go up this mountain, he gave some directions and said, there is one cave where there is a yogi, he is the man for you. So our man, bishop, walked up. Mountains are not kind to you unless you kept yourself well, You may be very fit in the city, once you go in the mountains, it's a different story. So our bishop went huffing, puffing, then he reached this place. In front of a cave, a yogi was sitting blissed out. So he had been told, if you see an Indian yogi, you must prostrate. But there are objections. So with great difficulty, he went down and scraping his knees and making all that fuss, he got up. Yogi heard this commotion and slowly opened his eyes and smiled. Then the bishop asked, can I ask you a question? The yogi said, by all means. Then the bishop asked, what is life? Is what you're asking right now. Now he's over 60 years of age. Now asking what is life. You should have asked this question when you were 8. When you were 8, you have the intelligence to ask this question. But maybe you were too playful, you did not ask. At least when you're 16, you should have asked. Because that is the time questions will plague you. You somehow dodged that also. Now you are over 60, you're asking. Good, better late than never, at least you're asking now. So when he asked, what is life? The yogi went into raptures. Life is like the fragrance of jasmine upon gentle spring breeze. Fragrance of jasmine upon gentle spring breeze? My teacher told me, life is like a thorn. Once it gets into you, if you sit, it hurts, if you stand, it hurts, if you lie down, it hurts. For most people, it's become like that, isn't it? Whatever they do or they don't do, it hurts. If they do something, it hurts. If they don't do that, it hurts. Then you are saying life is like fragrance of jasmine upon gentle spring breeze? So yogi said, that's his life. So I'm saying, this life, what you call as life, is not a defined quantity. You can make it what you want. This is the beauty of our existence. Instead of making it a profound experience and a constant exploration, you want to define. Because if you want to understand, you must define, isn't it? You cannot understand something which is not defined. The moment you're defined, you're already in a box. No, I'm being gentle with the box. You understand?
It's been absolutely enlightening conversation and just made me think and just wonder that sometimes you have a perception of what you think you are. Then there's one perception of what people think you are. And then there's a third of what you think people think you are.
You're thinking too much.
That's part of my
Guruji, see where I get the overthinking from.
No, there is no such thing as overthinking. Yep.
Is it necessary that all three
Should match.
does it need to be in harmony? And if it is not, then does it mean that you're not in harmony with the universe?
See, only when we are dead, we are the way people want us to be. Because they can make whatever they want out of us. When we are…
You know what you are, but sometimes people…
No. You know what you think you are, all right?
Right.
That's how the question started. You think you are this, they think you are that, now you think they may be thinking something else, all right. So it's all a thought. thought, you can make it any way you want. Right now, as an experiment, all of you, if it helps to close your eyes, do this. Otherwise, with eyes open, if you can do it, eyes closed is better. Think of a tiger, think of a flower, can you? A mountain, you can. So I'm saying you can think what you want, whatever you want. But right now, you have given up that choice. Now your thinking has become a rut, it thinks in a certain way. So that is not called thinking. The word thinking means you consciously generate a certain thought, that is thinking. Otherwise, it's called mental diarrhea. It's simply running. So if it's simply running, why is thought process simply running? See, suppose my hand is simply jumping. What will you think? Oh, maybe Sadhguru has some ailment. If your mind is simply jumping around, what should I think? Same thing. Only thing is, nobody else can see. That's the only comfort you have, but that's not true. If somebody pays enough attention, they can see. So, this is not one person's problem. This is because there's a fundamental flaw in how we perceive ourselves. When I say how we perceive ourselves, what we call as our body. Were you born like this, ma? Just like this? You were just this much.
Smaller?
Yes, she was also small, you can't believe that? Oh, my mother small? No. No, she was only this much. Slowly it became this much. How? What made it like this? Food that we eat, isn't it? So what you call as my body is accumulation of the food that you've eaten. The food that you've eaten is just a piece of the planet, isn't it? We get it now, it's great. Otherwise, one day when they bury us, we will get it. Anyway, there's no problem about realization. When will it happen is the only question. If it happens soonest, we'll live one way. If it happens latest, we die one way, okay? So, body is an accumulation, am I correct? What you call as my mind, this is an accumulation of impressions that you have taken in. What you see, what you hear, what you smell, what you taste, what you touch, from this, you have accumulated so much. Anything that you accumulate can be yours, can never be you, isn't it? Right now I'm sitting here, suddenly I pick up this vessel and say, this is my vessel. You will say, it looks like Sadhguru has a problem. Why is he saying such a thing? But then you say, okay, let's listen some more. Everybody says he is wise. After some time, I say, this is me. Then you'll say, let's go. Because this is a clear case, isn't it? But this is happening to you every day. Food appears on your plate, you say, this is my food. You eat it and then you say, this is me. You are thinking the accumulations that you have as myself. And this is not stopping with body and mind. It is going to clothes, it's going to home, it's going to family, it's going to friends, it's going to wealth. You slowly start thinking all that is you. The moment you think of yourself as something other than what you are, your thought can never stop. It will go on endlessly, awake or asleep, it'll go on. If you release yourself from that wrong identification of believing yourself to be something that you are not, it'll become still. Then when you want, you can think, just like your hands. When you want, you can use it, when you don't want, you can keep it here. This is how all your faculties should be, isn't it? When you want, you can use it, when you don't want, you can keep it here. This is when a faculty is useful. If it runs all over the place, it is not useful. It is more of a nuisance. What is it that human beings are suffering? They're suffering their own intelligence. If you take away half their brains, they will all sit peacefully. Yes or no? They're trying to do that to themselves. Some people are soaking it in alcohol, some people are using some chemicals. So once their brains don't function, they feel peaceful and blissful. No, with full potential you must feel blissful. Disabled, you feel blissful, what is the point of that? Yes or no? You disable yourself and feel peaceful or blissful, it's no meaning. It's just like rest and peace. When you're dead, everything is peaceful. Others are also peaceful, you're also peaceful. You're alive, fully on, and you're blissful. This is important, isn't it? Because life is a bloody brief happening. Don't ever forget that. You think it is long only because in some way you have made yourself miserable or made life process burdensome. See, on a given day, if you're very happy, that day, 24 hours, poof, went off like that, isn't it? Like a moment. Another day, you're a little frustrated, depressed. 24 hours feels like a eon. So only miserable people can have a long life. If you're really joyful, before you know what's happening, it'll be gone. It's so brief. For what potential a human being carries, if you live 100 years, it's nothing, it'll be gone before you know what happened. So, the thought process going the way it is, it's not about what I think about myself, what I think about you, it's not about that. It is compulsive thought process. Compulsively, it is happening. This compulsiveness cannot be countered with anything other than consciousness. If there is darkness in this room, Mama, you must look at me, darkness, If there's darkness in this hall, if I give you the task of kicking this darkness out, even if you are a big whatever kung fu fighter, you can't kick it out, isn't it? You just switch on the light and it's gone. That's the only way you can deal with it. So this is the only way you can deal with compulsiveness, only with consciousness. Consciousness means just this, that an intelligence beyond memory is alive within you. What did you have for lunch, Mom? You can tell me. Appam, oh, you come from Kerala, all right. Appam doesn't look like you, appam doesn't smell like you, appam doesn't taste like you, but you eat it and in a few hours' time it becomes you, isn't it? So there is an intelligence within this which can make an appam into a human being. What a transformation in 4 hours' time, yes or no? Suppose I take a appam in my hand and make a human being out of it, who would you think I am? God himself, creator himself, isn't it? If I take a appam and make a human being out of it, you would think I am the creator. You are doing it every day, not in your hands, in your stomach, all right? But are you doing it or no? So this is the whole problem. There is an intelligence within you which is the very source of creation. You're completely missing it because you're too enamored with what you have gathered in terms of body, in terms of mental impressions, in terms of things and people you gathered. You're too identified with those things, so you're completely missing an intelligence which is the very source of creation. If you were in touch with that intelligence, there is no question, there will be no question in your life. There shall be no question in your life, because that is an intelligence which made everything happen. If you are in touch with that, everything is here.